Welcome to the Psychology Club podcast, brought to you by Vicente Martinez High School.
Welcome to the Psychology Club podcast. I'm your host, Taylor. Today we are talking to Jessica Montellano, and a licensed marriage and family therapist who specializes in working with tweens, teens, and young adults. What inspired you to work with tweens and teens specifically?
What a good question, Taylor. I just think it's a really fun age. I actually started working with elementary school students and then got placed at a high school, and I really liked it. I think that high schoolers have a really fun sense of humor, and it's such a fun time where you're deciding what you want to do next. I love seeing all the different journeys.
Hi, I'm Gabby. What are some reasons teens seek out therapy?
That's a good question. I think teens seek out therapy for lots of reasons, and really I think just wanting to have a place where they can go and complain and talk and get support with all sorts of things, right? It's just a nice place for you to share whatever's on your mind or whatever you're going through and get some support.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. What are some misconceptions teens have about therapy?
I think there's a few big misconceptions, but I think the biggest is probably that something huge has to be going on, like there has to be a glaring reason for going to therapy, and sometimes there can be a bit of a stigma around going, but really you can go just because it's nice to have a space to sort through your thoughts and have someone to bounce things off with. And yeah, good question.
Okay. Hi, I'm Naomi. Do you personally relate to teens or not really?
That's an interesting question. I think in the sense of I remember what it was like to be a teen years ago. And yeah, I think it's a nice common, we've all been going through that time of figuring out who am I, what do I want to do, and all the fun stuff that you guys are getting to go through.
Hi, I'm Kamala. What tips do you have for people to find a therapist that's a good fit for them?
That's a good question. I'm a really big believer in shopping around for therapists. It's a person that you're trying to connect with, so the chances that you just meet the one person that you're like, oh yeah, I like this person, they feel like a perfect fit, I'm gonna share all of my secrets with them, right? It's hard to do, so to shop around and see, okay, who feels like someone I can relate to, who feels like, yeah, they're asking questions that I relate to, or they have a vibe that I connect with, because there's lots of different therapists and there's lots of different people, and everyone has different needs.
What coping skills do you see work best for young people?
Yeah, I guess it depends a lot on the person, but I think breathing tools and stuff. I know you guys all have participated in the yoga club and stuff, and I think things like that really get you in touch with your body, especially if you're dealing with anxiety, which can be really prevalent amongst teens. One of my favorite tools to do with teens is the sheet we have here called the best friend technique, which you guys might be familiar with, but it's really just the idea of asking yourself, okay, what would I tell my best friend if they were in this situation? Because we tend to give much more compassionate advice, better advice when it's our best friend going through something than when it's us going through it. And so that's a tool that I really like to use with teens. I use it myself. I think it's really helpful to kind of almost get an outsider's perspective, and it forces you to say, okay, yeah, maybe I wouldn't tell my best friend to put up with this right now. Yeah.
What are signs of toxic relationship and friendships?
That's a good question. I think it's tough to pinpoint, right, exactly, but I think we all have probably been in those friendships where we can tell, okay, I'm starting to leave feeling more drained. I'm starting to leave feeling like I was put down in a lot of ways. I'm starting to leave feeling that I'm not being cared for in a really nice way. And so I think that there's lots of signs that we can look out for. Again, I think that's when that best friend technique kind of comes in of, what I want to see someone else in this relationship, what I want them to be spoken to or treated this way. But yeah, I think it's kind of that feeling that we start to get. We're like, okay, this isn't feeling really nice anymore. This isn't a place where I feel like I can grow and laugh and be happy and be authentic.
How can people set boundaries without guilt?
That is a good question. And I think it's really hard, right? Setting boundaries is a skill, it's something that we have to practice. It's like a muscle that we have to work out. And I think it partially comes with accepting the fact that it's okay to feel guilty, right? Like it's hard at times to set boundaries with people. It's hard to feel like, or maybe making them upset, but acknowledging that when we set boundaries and we do what helps us, it'll actually help the relationship. So if it's good for us, if it's good for the relationship, even if it's hard initially, it'll be the best thing going forward. So I think just focusing on what will make that relationship able to be its best.
Okay. Following up with that, what's a way you could set up a boundary?
A way you could set a boundary? Well, I think in general, like just direct communication tends to be the best. So maybe saying to someone, maybe the boundary is around, okay, your friend is texting you at all times of the night and you're like, girl, I need to sleep. I cannot have my phone going off. Sometimes just saying like, hey, I really appreciate that you think these memes are really funny. I appreciate that you're thinking of me, but I have to put my phone on do not disturb, or have to mute our notifications because I need to get some sleep.
Yeah.
So trying to be direct, but also, saying like what you appreciate about the person, making them feel like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I gotta sleep. Yeah.
What is one thing people today are doing better than the generation?
What makes your generation superior? I think your generation has really destigmatized a lot of talk about mental health and like being able to acknowledge your emotions and what you're feeling and stuff, which I really admire about this generation. And so, I think that's a really big one. Like there's a lot of teens who actively seek out therapy, who actually go to their counselors and talk to them, and it's not viewed as negatively as maybe in the past. And it's a really good tool to learn when you're younger, because then the older you get, the easier it is to use those tools. So I think that's something I really appreciate about this generation.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Jessica, for taking the time to talk to us today. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and push the notification so you get the notification when we post.